Good morning. Michelle Drobnik.
Here.
Jeff Hallstrand.
Here.
Jason Hastings.
Here.
Jordan Spacek.
Here.
And Patricia Steven.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, we're all here. Public comment or communications, anybody have anything? Hearing none, we'll move on from public comment. Minutes from our October 7th meeting. We're in your packet.
I do have a public comment, but it's for Forestry and Parks. Should I wait?
Is it an agenda item? Did you sign up on the thing over here? Oh, I didn't pick it up. I thought the clerk usually picks that up. Is it an agenda item or not agenda?
It's for the Forestry and Parks it is.
Okay, well, I'll call on you when we get to the agenda item. Okay, meeting minutes. Joel?
Can
You
I,
can't approve them.
can I, yeah, but can I, just a couple things that probably should be changed maybe on there. 10 where it's the sustainable forestry grant, it says and utilized, that money hasn't been utilized. And then the over or down on 14 department report, over 200,000 left unsold and 2 sales opening tomorrow. That should be crossed off. That is not right. And then Creamery Creek Dike, we should probably fix the spelling on that.
Get all that, Meredith?
So I would move to make a motion as corrected. Or to approve them as
Approve as
corrected.
corrected. Okay, have a motion by Ms. Drobnik. Second
Second.
by Ms. Steffen. Any other discussion? Not all those in favor?
Okay. Aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed? Motion carried. Our next meeting date will be December 2nd, and we will have that meeting because we'll be opening bids on that day. Buildings and grounds. We're gonna combine most of this into, with the exception of the resolution and Josh giving us an update, because that's the way it's gonna go.
Sure. Good morning. Yeah, I don't have much this morning. So, yeah, for the last month, what we've been up to basically is we had the county garage sales. We got rid of a lot of old supplies that were in the storage units that we've been sitting on for the last couple of years, old filing cabinets, desks, and whatnot. So that went well. We also completed the PMs for the quarter. Got all filters, belts changed. Everything's greased, good to go. And changing over equipment for the winter, all the mowers, getting the brushes ready, all that. And otherwise, I've been working with Jamar to update some of the graphics for our Jace for the HVAC management system. So been doing that. Yeah, other than that, it's just minor repairs.
Okay, the electrical panel, we're still working on the RFP.
Correct. Still waiting on some specs for that, and still a work in progress.
All right, anybody have any questions for Josh? Buildings and grounds wise?
One,
Yes.
just curious, on the vouchers, generator cooling ignition system maintenance for 15,000, what do we get for maintenance for 15?
Yeah, that was it says maintenance, but it was actually a major overhaul. Those generators are 15 years old now, so it was like a 15-year service plan kind of where they went and replaced all the thermostats, all hoses, batteries, heating elements, basically entire overhaul. So yeah, for here and the normal building.
Okay, good.
Good, thank you. Jason?
The electrical panel seems to be a necessity going into the winter with the heating season, right? With the pumps and stuff that got destroyed because of the electrical panel last year? I'm just curious why it's kind of getting pushed back.
Not pushback. I think, see, even originally when we started talking about this, when we got Peeper in here to give us a quote on a new panel, it was still several months out, even from ordering something.
Okay.
So it's like, it needs to be done at some point here, but even in emergency, we'd have to, figure something out in the meantime, because it's not like we just get a panel here tomorrow anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to get on the agenda to say, even that several months, whether it happens this next year or 2027, like we have to do something, but does that make sense?
Yeah, are the pumps protected then from a power outage?
The new pump that we got has a VFD installed on it which would protect it, unlike the old one, which was original. So we do have some better safeguards in place, I guess.
So it'll stop if the power goes out?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
But the aging panel still needs
Yeah.
to be addressed, or
Yes.
thinking potentially a capital project, in the budget next year,
Okay.
so. Any other questions for Josh before we let him go? Get ready for snow. Oh, we got a resolution too here. To do. All right, we'll go to item number 7, resolution to approve buildings and grounds maintenance project to be funded with money transferred from capital improvement fund. We need to forward that on to executive, or is that should be a non-agenda item?
I don't have that one.
Yeah, it was originally we were going to talk about it, and then I think this is where we're starting to push that project back and then make sure we either want to use capital improvement fund or we want to use general budget through the process. So it was on here just in case we were ready for it. We're just not. It'll be
All right,
tabled.
yep, well,
It's gone. We'll bring it back when we're ready.
no action taken.
Nope.
All right, Josh, thank you.
Thank you.
Forestry and Parks. First item up for discussion is the resolution to support Headwaters River Forest.
Jeff, do you want to let Ginny,
Application?
you want to let Ginny talk? Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yep, this is your topic. Yeah, I was just announcing it, but yeah, if you'd like to make some comments about it, go ahead. Gets what, 3 minutes on a topic item? Agenda item? Okay.
I summarized.
You summarized?
I'm not long-winded like some people here. After all that came out in the last county board meeting, I don't know how you can possibly consider supporting a nebulous corporations getting grants that restrict land from development, limit taxpayers from buying land to build on forever. I've heard the same argument for decades at countless public hearings given by paid lobbyists from every environmentalist group in the country. Can we really count on this corporation to even maintain this land after they would get those grants? Keeping land for posterity is not prosperity. We have national forests, county forests, and even town forests that, if they are well maintained, will provide jobs for people already. Passing the buck and sending this on to the county makes having committees worthless. The whole county board will not be privy to the long presentation you listen to for them to make an informed decision. We even have committees. Why? Passing this is guaranteeing that nothing can be changed forever. Grants can provide corporations and even individuals with income from taxpayer money forever too.
Thank you. Okay, so we have today the resolution in front of us. I don't know if we're ready to pass anything based on the information we've had, I'd like to have the gentleman back here to answer a series of questions that may or may not arise.
How come that wasn't taken care of before the meeting?
Can't answer that. Can't answer that. They're not in a hurry to get our resolution, I don't believe, because they're waiting to see if they get federal funding. And I guess that puts me in a spot where I don't know that I'm aggressively wanting to move on something that they're waiting on federal funding. It's kind of like,
So do we want to just table this for now or?
well, I think there's people here that would like to ask some questions and have some comments about it. I mean, us as a committee, we can certainly discuss any concern we have that we can reach back out to that group of gentlemen that were here. So if you have concerns or questions, my intention would be to table this until our December meeting at a minimum, depending on what kind of questions we may have. And
Very good.
Jeff, just so you're aware, Forest Bar, the gentleman that was here, he is online. I don't know if anybody else from that group was. If you have,
Who does he
questions.
represent?
Do you remember the group? I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, the group that's requesting.
he was
this.
one of the three guys who were here. So
I think he's the one that runs the program, or not the
The
program
Forest
for the
Legacy
DNR.
program?
No, the
could we introduce him?
No, the
Forrest, could
property
you
owner.
introduce yourself and *6 to unmute? And
yeah, the property owner, he represents them.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
yes,
We can hear you.
Yeah, this is Boris Jabot. I work for Aurora, so yes, I represent the landowner that is voluntarily deciding to move into the conservation easement. So yeah, I'd be happy to answer questions today.
so this is Jeff Hallstrand. So one of the questions that I had, let me find where I marked my note here. Oh, it was on page 3 of the information that we were sent, next to where it said threatened, lack of protection with no permanent protection such as easements, blah, 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 you know, that could be subdivided into 4,100 individual lots. Down below that, it said HRF will likely be placed on the market if the funding plan isn't secured, with more than 6,500 acres across the state sold in favor of high value retail. You know, I take that statement as just kind of like a threat that if you guys don't do something, then we'll sell it all. And I don't know, that's just me, and that's just one opinion that I had on that.
What's your opinion?
I don't like having a threat kind of thrown out there that if we don't approve something, it's then we're gonna sell it all.
Yeah.
And I believe currently today that some of this land is being sold and parceled off, because we had a chunk by us that was sold, and there's already gates and no trespassing signs and a camper parked in there. So that is happening. So I guess just having a statement like that in there makes me stand back on my heels a little bit, that, oh, well, that's a threat if we don't support it. And whether we support it or don't support it doesn't affect the funding, I don't believe.
Which supervisor brought this to the board?
It was carried over from last meeting.
How did it get in front of the board last meeting?
It came through Joe and I at the Forestry
The
Department.
administrators? Okay.
Yeah. They requested being on the agenda, right? And the request was made to Joe and I to be on the agenda.
Okay. So what's in front of us, exactly why?
It's in front of us. So what this company is looking for is support from Price County to say that we support it. It's not financially, we aren't committing any dollars. We aren't doing anything other than saying we support it for their application for these federal dollars. You know, whether it makes a hill of beans difference, I think, Forrest, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but if we don't support it, you're going to go forward with the project request anyways?
Yeah, I can address some of the points here. So, that was a factual statement in that document that was created by the by the conservation fund. You know, it's just a fact. It's not, it wasn't a threat. It wasn't written as a threat. I'm surprised you took it as a threat. It's just a fact. And we are selling lands just like any other investment landowner does in the region. I will say that Wisconsin in specific, across all the eastern U.S. where we own lands, is a market in which is very, very, very strong and moves land. So I mean, if we do have lands listed, and we would continue to probably, these lands are arranged in a potential bucket that we would continue to sell. And so that's all it is. It's just, it is not that the fact is likely in 15 years, yeah, these lands won't be arranged the way they are, because if we go back in time 15, 20 years ago, or actually a little bit longer, when all the vertically integrated paper companies sold their lands, we had about 1.2, 1.3 million acres in Wisconsin of corporate forest land holdings. Now we have now we're probably we're under 700. It's over 600. So it's somewhere around 650,000 acres. So we've lost half of it from 4 or 5 landowners to now thousands. And that just is going to continue. That just is a fact. So the evidence shows that. So it's not a threat. It just is a fact.
Excuse me, Forrest, this is Supervisor Hastings. I got a question.
Sure.
Google says that Aurora Sustainable Lands owns 1.6 to 1.7 million acres of U.S. forest land. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is it also true that you guys are partners with Anu?
They are a contractor that we work with on projects.
Does anybody in this room know who Anu is?
Mm-hmm.
Carbon credit company.
Carbon credit company. Carbon credits are all over. I mean, they can come right down to the individual 40 acres now.
Yep.
So. Any other questions for Forrest before we?
Supervisor Patty Stephen, what is this land? Is it swampland? Is it buildable land? What is it?
That's a question for you, Forrest.
Yeah.
Sure. It's a mix of forested land. There's a road that goes right through it. You know, it's primarily upland forest. I would say 60% of it is.
Forrest, is there any utilities in the area now or no? And we're only referring to our Price County chunk here when we speak.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know exactly where utilities end. It's a relatively rural spot with just limited road access. So if there were any utilities, it would be just on the margin edge, probably on the western edge of it. So the majority of it would not have direct power.
Okay.
Forrest, what is the long range outcome of imposing a conservation easement on private landowners?
Yeah, so it still stays private. It's still in the tax roll. You know, it really is not any different than any other forested property that's out there, other than the selling of the rights for development. It doesn't require MFL enrollment, so someone could choose in the future to remove it from MFL. So, and then it would be taxed as such, an ad valorem roll. However, the conditions of the easement, one of them would be access, permanent access, and to perpetuity for the public for a range of things, including hunting and fishing and hiking and otherwise. So really the only thing that's different is the development potential for the future. But from a tax standpoint, I mean, that's the only thing would be, the taxing of a structure. Otherwise, there's no different than any other forested parcel in the county.
Mr. Chair, may I ask?
Yes, sir.
This is Brian Ernst, County Board Chair. Forrest, you said it doesn't affect the tax roll, but does the property's value lessen when it gets put into this category? In other words, if it was worth, I don't know, $1 million, does it become worth $500,000 because you can't build on it? So are we going to lose half the value as far as what we get paid taxes for?
Well, that would be up to the assessor. In most cases, I've not seen that. That's no different than what somebody chooses to do on their property. If they choose to dig a pond or excavate, cut all the trees, turn it into, or do something that would potentially change the value to a potential buyer. So that's an appraisal. That's an appraisal assignment. So ultimately, I wouldn't be able to answer that. It's going to change its value on the market, certainly. However, how that gets transferred into assessment is pretty complicated, especially in the state of Wisconsin, the way we handle assessments. So I wouldn't be able to say from an assessment standpoint what the issues would be with tax.
Do you know of, or do you have any past history as far as lands that have been put into this? What's happened to the value?
Well, if you're talking about real estate value,
What we're able to tax.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to speak to that. Sawyer County would probably be the best place to ask what the situation is there. All of the conservation easements in Sawyer County are in tax enrolled programs for the most part. They may have a couple parcels or legal descriptions that are not in MFL that you could investigate, but it's not an issue that I've ever heard brought up of concern from an assessment standpoint.
Joe,
About an economic standpoint.
Joe, you had a comment?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm pretty sure most of that parcel's in open MFL anyway, so it's fixed base. Yeah. I think this parcel, the access looks like the only access is from the west. Yeah, and then it goes right into a swamp. So to develop that would be extremely difficult.
I believe looking at it, it stretches all the way through to F. I believe it touches F, does it not? Or does it come just short by I was looking at online. I believe it
should touch it.
Yeah, I believe it touches F just north of Crane Chase Tavern, about a mile or so in that stretch there. So there could be access from the west side as well, or east side as well. I'm sorry.
So Forrest, when we talk about assessment and the price of land and how much per acre would the conservation easement be getting from the Knowles Nelson Fund per acre?
So Knowles Nelson would be a fraction of it.
Yep.
Otherwise, it'd be federal dollars. In a lot of cases, conservation easements are valued at around 20 to 30% of total appraised value. So that's what the payment would be. Considerations that would come out of that would be us working with the Department of Natural Resources for the roads that would likely be open. There's a good chunk of like through roads on the Sawyer County properties. I think up to 16 miles we're going to commit to for new roads that have historically been closed to the public for vehicular access. And then we would take we're probably going to end up taking, you know, probably close to $500,000 of the funds and putting those into a investment account that would only be used for road maintenance into the future. So that would be taken out of the net proceeds. There might be a few other real estate pieces that, you know, Ron would be able to speak to that better from the Department of Natural Resources, but the total value before you know, if you're making adjustments for things like the endowment for road maintenance, like I said, is somewhere between 20 and 30% of total appraised value.
Okay, and the reason I bring that up is if back to Brian's question as to how it's going to affect the tax roll, if I took 40 acres of my land and improved the roads and made access, and the assessor is going to increase that value considerably, and if I sold some of this land for $3,000 an acre, it would be appraised and assessed accordingly down the road. So I guess with all these improvements, you know, from Price County standpoint, I mean, what do we stand to gain or lose? And we could lose. We've got a good chunk of Price County today that's in U.S. Forest Service and our county land and some other forests that we aren't collecting tax on right now. And it does make an effect. Makes an effect on our bottom line when we have so much MFL and non-tax paying land, not tax generating land. So I have a question from Mr. Hastings.
In the last meeting, the one I missed, I was not here. I listened to it, and one of the gentlemen said that the tax base will actually go up. Can you please explain that?
There wouldn't be so the couple options that would happen with taxes would be, right now it's value, Joe, you said it's MFL. So there is a value on it, right? So as a whole, we're collecting 13 million as a county, they're paying a portion. Depending on what the classification becomes, if it takes it out of MFL and goes into conservatory lands and it's valued at something different, if the value were to increase, then the rest of the taxpayers would pay less because that portion of the land would be paying more. If the value were to go down, the rest of the taxpayers would be paying more.
How is that possible? It's putting a burden on other taxpayers.
If the value goes down, that's no different
Well,
than my
and it already
house.
has when it went into MFL land.
Right. That's one of the questions of MFL that people are always talking about is, or egg lands, same thing. Egg lands, MFL, open or closed, they reduce the value of those lands based on those programs. There are offsetting money that you get from whether, I don't know if it's a DNS, we get like a PILT or a PILT payment, payment in lieu of taxes, pilot payments. We get money through those programs, but they don't necessarily offset the total amount that would be reduced. So yes, anytime a piece of property goes into MFL, egg land, nonprofits, then it puts a increased cost on the general taxpayer.
Public.
But that's no different than if my house loses value and all the houses around me go up, I'm going to pay less taxes, they're going to pay more. The base tax never changes. Now, the only time it can go up as a whole is if you take a 40 and you build new property on it. So, or not build, but you take that 40, it's valued at $50,000 assessed value, and you build a $400,000 house. That's considered net new construction. That's a percentage of your whole. So then you can raise your tax levy, which this year was 1.2 sounds right. 1.2% is the net new construction. That means we raise the net new construction on everybody, that 1.2, but every house, if no assessments had changed, would all pay the same because those new houses would take on that net new construction. So that's where you're potentially losing out, is if there's no new net new construction on those properties. But a change in value only affects the whole. So, and that happens every day.
I
right?
understand that,
Based
but
by the
this
state.
deal that they're trying to make is with Knowles Nelson money, which is a burden on the tax dollars or taxpayers. Correct?
I don't know why Knowles Nelson would be a burden.
Because it's taxpayer money.
Well, right. It's a program through the state, but that's paid across to everybody. It's not, it doesn't go up, it doesn't go down.
Yeah, us private landowners. That's what I'm saying.
All citizens across the state. You pay into the, no, I don't even know where the Knowles Nelson generates, just like the stewardship money,
I think it comes right out of the state funding. It's
yeah,
a state funding.
again, I don't know if it's based on sales tax. I don't know if it's based on sales of ammunition, if it's based on cut logs. I don't know I know it has to be approved every biennium or biennial budget. Some years it's 10 million, some years it's 87 million. So it's not a generated tax. It's just it's a pool of money that they set aside at the state.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we table this and move on.
All
I said
right.
I'm not in favor of it really, and
Postpone it indefinitely.
Sure.
I'll make that motion.
Well, all right, hold on. Jordan made a motion to table this.
Table it or postpone it indefinitely, Jordan.
We can table it for now. If we want to bring it back later, that's fine. Look into some more info, but I mean,
Yes.
I,
So
I got one more thing I'd like to say.
okay. That's fine.
If the taxpayers,
hold on.
Okay.
Do you have a
Okay.
second, first and a second?
Patty
Second.
seconded.
Okay. there you
So
go.
now we can have discussion on the motion.
if right now, as it is, there's not many hands in the pot right here. If this deal does go through, the federal will get involved, the state government through the Knowles Nelson, the land trust companies, the corporations with the carbon funds, the wealthy landowners, the lawyers, the banks, the investors, the universities, the non-governmental organizations are all involved. So those are all paid for by us taxpayers that would be footing this entire bill. It's this is redistribution of wealth and power, which is socialism. I make a motion to postpone it indefinitely.
Got a motion on the floor.
Joe, can you tell us why you're for this? Yeah.
Joe has never said he
I don't-
was
I don't-
for
I
it
don't
or
think Joe
against
ever
it,
stated he
And
was
why
for
is it in front of us?
because it was
There was a-
presented to us to act upon it. It came
Under, I'm just a.
Conduit to
So
bringing it
if somebody
forward.
requests something of me, Jason,
Okay.
I can't just say, no, you can't talk to the committee.
No, I understand.
That's to go to
You're
you
just
guys
talking
and,
like this.
Right.
and so that goes to you. So you have to make the decision. That's
do you
why
have an
you got
opinion on
voted
it?
I
in.
set the agenda, so I put it on the agenda.
That's-
I know you're a forester. Do you have an opinion on it?
I do. This is for you guys to decide.
Not his
I think when you talk with Knowles Nelson money, that's part of the program that's there. And some people like these kind of things, and in certain areas where you don't have a wealth of public land, this is probably a great thing. We do have a lot of public land. I don't think this is a developable property, so some of the stuff maybe in Sawyer County is better off. But
Is it
That's-
safe to admit we have zoning laws to conserve land?
I don't know our zoning laws, but I don't think our zoning laws is to convert, is
No,
to
not
conserve.
conserve. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a
our
lot-
zoning laws aren't to conserve land. They're more to,
There's a lot of restrictions, though. I live on a river.
right, but that's not to conserve land. That's a different deal, but yeah, that's up to you guys. I personally, I think this is a property that's probably not that developable. It's a way to gain money for companies is what it is. And that's what the world's about.
Well, I think they're tying their,
Companies trying to make money, right?
I think they're tying their parcels together. Because when you have a bigger chunk, you can try to get more, and I just, like I said, I listened to their meeting or their speech or spiel, whatever you want to call it, the last meeting. And I left with a semi-soured feeling in my stomach, and I'm not in favor of it. So like I said, we'll table it. And if we want to bring it back, do a little more research and info, we can, or it's up to Jeff to put it back on the agenda for future or not.
So we'll table
move
it till our
forward.
December meeting, and if we can vote on it right now. So table this to the December meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Is there something specific you'd like to see in December for this? Do you
I
want?
think we should bring the three gentlemen that were here before back to answer any questions. I think it is the responsibility of this committee, not of the chair, to come up with their questions. the chair of this committee is to run the meeting.
Yep.
All right, so we're all committee members here.
I have an opinion on that too. Jeff, you are part of the Northwest Regional Planning, which absolutely is for conservation. You can take that home. I believe you should recuse yourself from any further position on this, so.
Well, anyway, so we'll table this meeting. We will invite the three gentlemen that were here, Forrest included, to come back and talk at our December meeting. Next item on the agenda, resolution capital improvement funds for Big Falls bathrooms. This is a resolution to send to executive to find funding.
I make that motion.
Motion by Michelle,
I'll second.
second by Jordan. Any discussion?
I have
For
one quick
those that
question.
attended the road tour, they got to see the toilets, just so you know.
Okay,
Since
I'm
you
not-
skipped it.
If I may,
there.
Mr. Chair,
yes.
I'm not against it, but how come they cost so much? That's a
I
lot
was
of
gonna
money
say, do you
for
want to go
a
over what,
outhouse.
They, that's the way of the world. The price of these has probably doubled in the last handful of years.
I feel like when we did
That's
the first one
price
out
of,
at.
price of about everything, you know.
and if you read the resolution, we've been approved up to $85,000 in matching funds. That doesn't mean we're gonna use all 85. So Joe's time, equipment, all that stuff count towards our percentage. So it's never really 50. It's 50-50 when you look at the budget as a whole, but cash out of the, like, we would write a check for 20,000, but we do also do $10,000 in kind, then we would get 30. So we might put 20, they'll put 30 cash. So it's a little bit not 50-50 cash, but it is Joe's and his staff time, equipment time. What else can we do in kind? Materials, if we need to get materials from highway, that kind of
That was
thing.
my question too, Joe. Is it concrete masonry unit version or the acrylic type with the plastic?
No, so the one that we usually spec out are the two-piece. They're a vault on the bottom and then a concrete structure on top.
Okay.
They're
yeah,
precast.
precast
Yes.
units. And
Oh.
The
they're
same as what's at Tim's Hill.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim's Hill and Solberg.
And
And
this
this is
does
for
include the
two.
solar lighting on the roof and stuff so that we have some type of lighting there.
Yeah. Security lighting, basically.
And this is for two, not just one.
Correct. It'll replace. There's a one unit and then a
Yep.
yeah, multi-unit.
Any other questions for Joel? Not,
And-
all those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
And so you guys are recommending it or approving it to executive. Executive's the one that has to approve the use of capital improvement
Right.
funds.
Or
so
find the funding, correct?
It'll be capital improvement
Yeah.
funding, yeah. I mean, that's the recommendation. I shouldn't say it will be, but that's the recommendation is use the capital improvement funds.
Solberg Lake Campground expansion update, Joel.
We have play equipments out there to be installed. Sounds like maybe at the end of the week that they'll be doing that. Pump house shell is done. Pretty much the most of the dirt work is done except for we have that blue rock for the walking trails that's still got to be delivered. Kind of overdue, but couple other finishing touches on things that we'll be working on here. So end of the month I have a meeting with just for permitting end of things for the final okay from the state, I guess, basically to open it up. So that's kind of where we're sitting. We got a little bit of electrical as well. That's got to be completed. So
Patty?
I have a cousin, they're out there 2 weeks in the summer, and this is just feedback, general. She said with the online reservations, they can reserve Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She said before, without the reservation, they would have to rent Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to be able to make sure they got their spot. So when they showed up on Friday, they already had the spot. So she said we were losing income by having online reservations. So we were losing bookings on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Just FYI.
Jordan has been speaking that, yeah, since the beginning. I guess.
I think the revenue report shows though that it did do just fine this summer, even without that, correct, Joe?
We're about on par.
Yeah.
Is,
Yep.
is what
Yep.
we are.
So-
yeah.
So,
And really, as we get a year or two of the online reservations, we'll be able to see if that's had an effect or not.
not necessarily camp expansion related, but just campground in general. I believe a couple years ago, we got a report on usage of sites, Joe. Could we get that again? I'd be curious to see, like a comparison. I feel like this summer when we were there a couple times, or when I took a ride out there, some sites that weren't utilized in the past definitely were used more because of the reservation system, I'll say. So
Sure.
especially site like, is it 7 or 8 is the little one on the hill there. I think 7 or 8, that seemed like it almost had a camper in it quite a few weekends versus that one was almost always vacant.
Sure.
So I'd just be curious to see that. Thanks.
Mr. Chair, my comment, if I
Yes.
may,
You may.
we took a drive through the new expansion, well, actually the whole park on a highway department road tour. Based on, it's beautiful. Based on what I see, we're not charging enough. Because it's as good or better than a lot of parks that charge 60 to 75 bucks a night.
And I
This
guess
is
I
something
wouldn't
probably we could
disagree
talk
totally.
about next year, but I'm just making a comment.
I would just make the comment though that we're also Price County, and you got to look at somewhat of what we get paid versus what those areas get paid, and we got to reflect that a little bit for our local people, because that plays into effect. I mean, cost of everything else is getting more and more, and if we outprice our local people, that's going to be there's a certain breaking point too. But that's just my personal comment. You guys can decide what you feel
I
is
agree
right.
with Joe.
I think we set the rates for this year and let's
Well, I'm
see
not
how it goes.
suggesting you
Yeah.
change them.
No, I know.
No,
I
yeah,
just,
they're set
no.
already, so.
Yep. Yeah. No, it turned out very nice. And I think we need to get a year underneath our belt to see, maybe we are leaving money on the table per se, but I think we set the rates at a very competitive number.
I do get a lot of comments from our administrative group. We talk about like campgrounds and how we are one of the only counties that is either break even or does well on some of our campgrounds. A lot of them cost a lot of money for counties to maintain and do what they do. So Joe and his staff do an excellent job. I think we have a popular place. Can't say it's because of what we charge or how we charge, but I mean, I hear the stories from other counties where they're subsidizing it with their levy by quite a bit of money, and we do very well with our campground. So Joe does a nice job.
Okay.
Hi, Jeff. Hi.
Oh,
Over there. Jeff,
I-
you got to look below to see that.
I know, I'm down here.
I did look once.
So are we kind of just banking on the chamber to be our advocate, I guess, for this, like to be the advertiser of all of our improvements and all of that jazz? Or are we going to be more proactive and try to broadcast this in a better light?
What was your question?
I'm just like, what are we doing to,
What are we doing to
put this
promote-
out there?
promote
Like, what
the
are-
park?
yeah.
Campground.
Yeah,
like,
we
I
are-
feel like
we
it's,
are working with the chamber a little extra on this one. We're talking about putting some extra money towards it. We do some stuff on our own, but next year we could talk about, do we do a bigger campaign? I mean, we're closed right now. It hasn't been open yet. So next year would be the time where we push it.
A billboard on 51.
yeah.
I mean, it might not be out of the question, I mean, it's something.
We used to have a department that did
Just
that.
saying.
It might not hurt.
No,
Yeah. But then too, I guess something just to plant a seed on, because, seeds get planted here and there. There are those seasonal, like, I want to say seasonal campgrounds, but they also offer storage. Like if somebody wanted to rent essentially for the entire year and leave their camper there, that may be something, that might be semi-lucrative.
As far as promoting, just my comment is, we used to have a department in the county that did that,
What?
and we got rid of it and poured money, or not poured, but gave money to the chambers to do that for us, basically.
And like I said, we've been working with them more recently to, like, I know we're doing something extra in the visitor's guide that goes out, 50,000 of them across the state. We're doing more advertising. I met with the chamber last week, and so our money, we have an MOU that says it goes to Woods, Waters, Natural Resources. So that's part of Woods and Waters. So we're redirecting some of the stuff that they're doing or working with them to make sure to highlight the camping.
That was my question. The Northwest Regional Planning was suggesting land conservation with the tourism money. Is that what you're doing with it?
Land conservation with I don't know what that means. Like
Conservation projects.
we're not advertising any conservation.
They were suggesting it. That's why I asked. But secondly, we spent like 60 grand at Uniquely Wisconsin.
Yep.
Is that contract up or not?
Yep, that was a 1-year contract, I think 3 years ago. We did the rodeo, we did which was also part of Tim's Hill, the trail riding. We did the snowmobile, we got the podcast. The chamber uses a lot of the B-roll, so we had professional like colors and all that stuff. So the chamber got all of that to use on their website, which it got used on the new Price. Enjoy. I want to say Discover, but Enjoy Price County. That top is from their videos that they took. So yeah, that was a 1-year contract.
Thank you.
Oh, fishing was the other one. Laura just told me there was a third one.
Governor's fishing opener, yeah. Okay, fall timber bid packets. We're in your pack. If you want Joe to explain any of them or all of them, what would be the time? How many of these are carryovers, Joe?
8 and 9 are, so 2.
Number 8 and 9.
You want to explain what a carryover is?
Yeah, so they didn't sell. They were advertised in the spring, did not sell, and then nobody came in to buy them. Because after one advertising, one time through, a contractor can come in and buy them direct for the minimum price. Nobody came in for those 2.
So number 8, the very first one, is that one where we were working on that road, the access road down there?
We did replace a culvert in a spot to get across there, but it's still
So dead of winter.
that's a tough access area there. Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I see there are several of them. There are several of them right in that area though, so that could make it look a little bit more attractive, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But any other ones that you want to talk about?
No, sales like that that's a good reason to have some of the equipment we do, because helping to freeze those down are kind of what sell those sales for us. So.
And is that open? Everybody who bids on it knows that we'll come out and kind of help freeze down roads, and so when they're bidding, they know that they're not on the hook to build a road and.
Right.
What was the total tonnage? Did I miss that? No.
Oh, I don't have the summary on there for
I
the
didn't know if
total
you had a summary or
minimum.
not. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Any other questions for Joe? Otherwise, look for a motion to approve the sales posting.
I'll make a motion to approve the sales for posting.
You have a motion,
Second.
a second by Patty. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. (2026) annual work plan was also in your packet. This is something we do all the time. Joe?
Yeah, this is a yearly reoccurring. We have to do, some of this comes down to the administrator grant. You gotta have a work plan approved every year. So it's a lot of it's boilerplate of what we do every year. Talks about timber harvest stuff and the timber side of things. Also includes some of the park stuff in there. And then, special projects kind of fit that in on the last page and then within some of the parks.
So is this the plan if say there was a park somewheres and they wanted to apply for federal dollars?
No, that's the outdoor rec.
That's the
plan.
outdoor rec plan.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So it does not have to be on this plan.
No, this is just
Just
purely
for our department.
yeah, just for the year of kind of the plan of what we'll be doing. The outdoor rec plan, that's one that's every 5 years we have to redo that. That's due.
And just so that everybody understands what I'm saying there is that if say Elk Park would like to put in for a grant to do something, it needs to be on that outdoor rec plan or the state will shoot it down immediately and say it's not on that plan. So they won't.
unless
be
the city
considered for
unless the
funding.
city does their own.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm wondering too. Does the forest carbon section have to be in there for the state? Can we take that out? Can we get out of the carbon red or carbon credit scam?
Are you asking me?
Mhm.
That's
Does it have to be in there?
that's up to the board. That's in a board approved.
I know you just said that the state pays half your wages and you have to turn this into the state in order to get paid. Does it have to be in there?
That's just something that we do. I have to do every year as part of my job. You guys can decide to get out, and I can take it off.
I think it looks good, Joe.
I'll make a motion to approve the 26 annual work plan.
Have a motion by Jordan,
Second.
second by Patty. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Disabled hunter permits. This was spurred by a phone call that the department received.
So deer hunting's like we get the most calls and complaints during this time, just because it's deer hunting, I guess. So we do give out disability permits for people that come in with they have to have their class A or class B, and then we have them fill this out, and then they can drive behind where on closed roads. There's always things where it's they still can't drive through a swamp, and they still got to follow the general rules. And it's for them alone, not passengers, that kind of thing. And a guy call in, he's over 75, and he said, I I can't walk anymore like I used to, still want to hunt my area. You know, and was requesting access, and I said, well, I kind of can't grant access beyond where, you know, that's not my gig. That you can get a disabled permit. And he goes, well, I'm not disabled. You know, whatever. So he said, well, can we get something where it's, you know, a person my age can get something similar? I said, well, I can bring it forward. So that's what this is. The last page I kind of put on here, the biggest thing with these type of deals, even this disability permit, it can become a time sink for us. You know, we can't go around and open gates for people and change locks out. And it just, there's too much time that gets put into that for what else we have to do, I guess. So anyways, the request basically on the back is, you know, 75-year-old plus, can they get a disabled permit type deal,
Isn't that kind of up to the medical doctors?
whether they're disabled or not?
I mean, does he have a disability permit for parking? I guess I don't know.
Right. So all this was a request was to say, you know, can a 75-year-old plus person, you know, which there's some validity to that. There are communities getting older and older, and people are accessing, you know, for this 9-day gun season only, can they access some of these spots? They'd be adding it on.
So that's what the question on the table is. Do we open up our disabled permit to include 75 and older because they're 75? To me, I mean, I get it. I get where some 75-year-old guy maybe is having an issue, but doesn't want to go to a doctor and get a permit. But I know a lot of 75-year-old guys are in better shape than I am. You know, how we just opened up a can of worms that we're going to allow everybody to be utilizing our trails. And that's, I mean, if you make an exception for one person, you've just made it for everybody 75 years and older. And a real good example is crossbows used to be just for disabled people, and now everybody can have one, and everybody does. And it's changed hunting. Not saying that that's our job here to change hunting or change, but do we open up our access to everybody? That's 75 and older. That's the question here.
And I did include like the road use map that shows, you know, shows roads that are open, as well. So there is options out there too. It just depends on, you know, if everybody's got their spot, and that's the most important spot. So they want that put though, however they best fits their agenda, I guess.
What do you think, Joe?
He's just bringing it to us as the committee.
I don't know. What do surrounding counties do? I have no idea.
Most don't have a age type deal. It's a disabled permit, you know, because that's something that by law you have to do. You know, and if a person's struggling that much, they probably can go into the doctor and get that permit.
And that's my feelings on the whole thing, is that if we open it up to everybody 75 and older, there's a lot of people that are 75 and older that can today could walk, but they're going to take their ATV with their 2 grandsons sitting on the back, and they're going to go 2 miles back in the woods. So I don't.
I think we need to leave it as is as a
That's how
disabled
I feel.
hunter.
That's how I feel as well.
38 years from now, when I'm 75, I'll wish, dang it, we should have voted that in 38 years ago. You know,
Modes of transportation too, that
Well, right, where, I mean, we've already fought about this electric bike deal, you know, and either our roads are gonna be open or they're gonna be closed. I don't think there's an in-between and exceptions. Either they're gonna all be open or they're all gonna be closed. And, you know, I think we keep making exceptions to the rules, and it'll somehow or another bite us in the butt.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily the county's roles to make a determination if somebody's handicapped or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that's up
Our
to the,
determination is whether or not we allow motorized vehicles on
Right.
our trails or not. Right? And that's why I say it. I think you've just muddied the waters. It's either open or it's closed. You know, we have a rule set about the disabled and I think we just
stick to that.
leave it be.
Yep.
All right. No action taken. Department update and financial report. I think we've talked about most of it, but you can talk
Yeah,
about.
most of it's been working on timber sales and then finishing up Solberg is the main deal for what we've been doing. I guess the DOT they rented the pavilion at Tim's Hill a little while ago, and I guess the governor was there. They had some kind of rustic road celebration. Yeah, other than that, it's like I said, it's hunting season's coming up, so it's complaining season. So
How was the sales? What we got? Active sales going on?
yeah, about 4.
Four?
It's been consistent, you know, the really dry. And we just actually were up a couple in that because we had a couple just start up. But yeah, as dry as it is, it's pretty amazing what can get done right now. But the markets are tight right now, so we'll see. We'll see what happens if things pick up a little bit and economy wise, maybe it'll go. But I know some of the mills are
Put in our
pretty
packet,
full up.
The stumpage numbers right now was 1.3 million, something like that. So
Yeah.
we'll
hit the
for
mark.
certainly meet our.
Yeah, we're
obligation.
over the budget. So
We'll make up for last
Up for
year's.
last year a little bit, yeah.
Just a side note on the Solberg stuff. While we were talking about the advertisement, I did email Laura and Joe, and I asked if Laura still had some contacts with like News 12 or some of the news stations. We could do like a, grand opening this spring sometime.
And
Just to,
Jonathan has got them contacts.
yeah,
'cause
but
he's
again,
done it.
it's Laura can work with everybody. It's as a communications person
And
that
I know that there is stuff going on at the chamber
Yep.
to specifically promote the new campground, so.
But that would be a good one because it's a free story on the news, and then you can use it on wherever the chamber site to say grand opening, and here's some cool pictures of.
And
camping.
we could certainly do something on our website here too, at the county.
Yeah, we have
where people click in it, that's the first thing that pops up is.
and we're working on a refresh this January and February, so we'll clean that up and we'll get some new pictures and updated information. So that's January, February. Laura's working on that.
And those will be live January 1 reservation. Yeah.
Patty?
Quick question. What are the insurance recoveries? What is that?
That would probably be like the statues or.
yeah, I'm
it-
thinking that's the concrete park. We had that tree fall down last year, so that's the fixing of the statues and
Yeah, so
getting that cleaned
Friends
up.
of Fred Smith does all the work. They give us the quote and then we turn it over to insurance. We pay the deductible. I think it's $1,000 and then the rest is recovered through the insurance.
That's part of the reason why we've done some tree removal in the park there recently over, and it's more proactive than anything else, just to get rid of some of the trees around the statues. Otherwise, we can't afford to pay for
The
for
restoration is like that too, because then it dries out the concrete. Like if there's rain or wet snow, it dries it out quicker with the more open canopy. So
Yeah, so
It's
just
being
try to
proactive.
leave the healthy ones around, so we're not dealing with that.
Sheldon, you had something? No? Well, I just watched your hand go up and you turned your mic on. Thought maybe you wanted to say something.
Just being proactive.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers.
That's what I was gonna do, so I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Sorry, who was the second? I got spacek.
Second.
Michelle. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Sorry, Michelle.